Thank you again for joining us. I believe you listened or you watched the previous episode. Today we are going to talk about something different in our contemporary society. How people take they survive. Average man wey no get money, maybe you no be politician or you no be professor. How you take they feed? I heard when Prof bin dey talk say average man fit dey chop from gutter. But if you go into the academic sector, how are the professors faring? How about the doctors? How about the politicians? Even reverend fathers, reverend sisters? How is the society today? That's what we're going to be talking about. So as it is now, I still have Professor Chukris Ikwemesi. He's an artist again, and he's here to dissect all of this for us. Stay tuned. So I welcome you again, Professor Chukris Ikwemesi, to this episode.
Thank you.
Uh, Today we are talking about an average man and a professional man, let me put it that way, in our contemporary society. Looking at how things are going, people are finding it hard to feed, feed their children, especially those that are married, they have a kid or kids. Then the single ones are saying there is no money, there is no work. Graduates will say, I've finished, no work anywhere. You see youths doing what they call Yahoo Yahoo and all of those things. Now, let's start from your own angle as an artist from the academic sector before we come down to the other people. How are you faring? Looking at the whole Nigerian situation, is life easy, hard, or so easy, maybe so hard for you as a professor?
Well, you mentioned Yahoo Yahoo and the rest of them. I don't know. Um, you know, I don't know how you define Yahoo Yahoo. Is it whatever you call it? It's Nigeria, not Yahoo Yahoo. I mean, by in terms of the realities that we face. I mean, Yahoo Yahoo is probably a slang for scam
Yes, internet
and
fraud.
scamming and fraud. I was writing something earlier this morning, and I went back to a definition, a term I coined some years ago, Nigerianism. I was referring to what a set of work somebody did. We called them masqueradism. And I was trying to make a link between masqueradism and Nigerianism. And Nigerianism for me, first of all, masqueradism is, for me, it stirs up feelings of what Rajat Nyogi, an activist from East Africa or somewhere, called anti-man, pro-masquerade. And then Nigerianism again, it's a philosophy, negativizing philosophy. It is not negative itself, but it can negativize, it can turn things into negatives. So Nigeria has run on a negative note over the years. That is the point I'm making. On a masquerade note, anti-man note or tendencies, so that the wrong things are glorified. And you are talking about income. Who earns an income in Nigeria today? There is no income. So I may start by saying that I don't know what you are talking about. I started work 1994 with the sum of 2007 as a salary. And I can tell you that I was better as a graduate assistant earning 2,700 naira than I am today as a professor earning about $250, which is nothing. So I don't know who is earning income. Nigeria is working for people who are able to, I mean, it's a survival of the fittest arrangement. So it's either you're a soldier, you're a professor, you are a politician. If you are in a place where you can either you shoot your way or you threaten your way through. If you're a policeman standing on the road, you can coerce people to give you money, and they can because you are carrying a gun. If you are a teacher, for those of them who have the liver, you can coerce students to contribute money for you or contribute some other things for you. If you don't have the means of coercion, then you have to, just survive. You are just there, and that is what many people are doing. So they let us not single out a group and call them Yahoo Yahoo. The point I'm trying to make, or part of the point, is that the country thrives on a Yahoo Yahoo philosophy. It's just that some people are so glorified that their own version of Yahoo Yahoo becomes legalized and is emulated. People look up to them, want to become like them. The other people, because they are helpless, because they are part of the hoi polloi, they are hounded around and labeled. I'm not saying they are doing the right thing, but let us agree that a politician stealing public money, diverting constituency fund, is acting on the same principle with the young man hiding in a hotel and scamming people through the internet. Just the same way a judge sentencing somebody to death is acting on the same principle with a highway robber who is, has the propensity to kill because the two want to take life. The other person is taking legally. The other person is going to take illegally. But at the end of the day, the two people will kill somebody. So the same way you have somebody who has stolen his way to power, stealing public funds. He is not different from the young man who is trying to survive and scamming people through the internet. So we are all living in hell. I've said it over and over. The other day I was talking on my birthday and I said we are living in hell. People should just say which part of hell they are operating from. In fact, a friend called me. I said, which part of hell are you calling from? I said, yes, hell. Accept that you are living in hell and that some of these people who are governing us are just playing Lucifer. You don't have to look for Lucifer. You are in hell. If you look around well, you find who is Lucifer and who is in charge. We don't have to, I've been to a few places around the world. And if we want to be realistic, if hell is a sentence given to humanity at the end of time, Nigerians are already serving the sentence. They don't need another hell at the end of time. So that is just the situation. Professors are not earning well. I'm a professor, yes. When we talk about poverty capital or who is poor in Nigeria, the poverty statistics and all that, we should be willing to be mentioned as people who are poor in Nigeria. We are told that at some point in the history of Nigeria, the professor was next to the chief judge of the federation in terms of what they earned. Today, the chief judge, judges, magistrates are far, far away from the professor, and the professor is just there surviving. So it's a long way from home, but at the same time, there's nothing much to show in terms of the development of teachers, the development of professors, the development of education. If there's any sector that is neglected in this part of the world, it is education. And that is very ironic because that is the sector that, you know, that is the backbone of the society. Education enables cross-generational conversation, keeps the past and mediates between the past, the present, and the future. And that is what development is all about. But that is the sector that is neglected. Once the former chancellor of Germany was asked, was addressing people who were agitating for higher wages. And she said, how can I pay you more than the people who trained you? Referring to teachers, because teachers were earning more. She said, why do you want me to pay you more than the people that trained you? That she couldn't do that. Here, the reverse is the case. Once you hear, the other day, a senator came to the university where I teach and was telling people that maybe a professor can earn 1 million naira, and people were clapping. What is 1 million naira? Maids in the United States and Europe are earning 1.5, $1,500. Times, multiply it according to the exchange rate. Then you see we are not getting serious. So it's a problem, and that is why people are helping themselves. Some lecturers are taking it out on students. Is it right? No. But they are encouraged by the circumstances, the society and all that, the neglect. I came in to teach 1994. Some of the issues that have been engendering the strikes from 1994 and so on and so forth have not been resolved. Every day you hear us talking about 2009 agreement. Where in the world does that kind of protracted, endless negotiations go on? It's only in a Yahoo country that you have that kind of thing, that you are negotiating one thing from 2009. Some of the people are dying, they have died. So when you approve it eventually, at the end of time, you will take it to them in the graves. It doesn't show honesty. So Yahoo, I think is a totalizing description for the Nigerian experience. Sorry if I deviated from the main points, but
talking about this thing you just said, negotiating 2009 agreements now, those in academic sector, this is what they've been experiencing. When I was entering school, somebody told me that it is not possible for someone in a federal university in Nigeria to go in and graduate without experiencing at least one ASU strike. And from the way I saw it, I think I experienced 2 strikes before I graduated. You said something about earning 2,700 back then, and you're better off then than now. So what has changed between then and now? Why is the economy of then better than now? And you said we are living in hell. How can we survive in this hell where everybody's trying to make his or her own?
well, it is not for me to tell you how to survive in hell. Maybe I'm not Lucifer himself. Everybody can see it. You can see it. Some of you who were not born at that time may not be able to appreciate, but I remember you could travel from here. The first time I came to Nsukka to check my JAMB, if I passed, I spent 10 naira from Onitsha, MCC Park. to Nsukka here, 10 naira, sitting comfortably in a Peugeot 504, four of us. So that taxi ran from Onitsha to Nsukka for 40 naira. That is the total number of passengers. Here now you have to pay. I can't even afford air travel. For me, it's a luxury because my salary cannot carry it except when I'm able to do a few other things. Maybe sell art, then I can afford. So things are going terribly bad, and it's because of bad governance. Let's face it. And people have been striking. Rather than respond, what the government does is to put in hurdles that can stop people from going on strike. I had they are going to pass one law or the other because these days I'm not interested. My own is let me live the remaining remainder of my life in quietness and peace and go. So, but I heard the other day there's a law that will make it impossible for people to effectively go on strike. I was sacked as a young lecturer in 1995 because we went on strike. I was a graduate assistant, 32 months. 11 of us, including Nasisi Asobie, let me mention names. He was ASU president. I was the only graduate assistant in that group in the university where I was teaching. They brought a professor, Umaru Gonwalk, as a sole administrator, and we were kept out for 32 months. And today it is the same issues that took us out, until Abacha died. It was when Abacha died. Abubakar said, bring back everybody who was sacked on account of the strike. And you are still negotiating the issues. Is that honesty? Some of us will retire soon, and you will still be negotiating, even if we are Methuselahs, and we are going to live 900 years. Give people the benefits so they can enjoy it when they are alive, not in their graves. So that is the issue. You have 70 naira, what do they call it? Minimum wage. And fuel is selling what it is selling. I mean, you have, they give so-called wage award. You throw 35,000 naira at people at the end of the month and people are clapping. These are very unrealistic things and people continue to survive. That is why you have rise in crime, rise in insecurity, rise in banditry and all that, and we are not addressing the real causes of these things. So you tend to, everything tends to become a joke. The country, the system, everything, becomes a joke, a fantasy land where anything happens, or a dream where anything can happen. So that is the way I see it.
Well, my mother would say Ikebur. But, but talked about this situation. I have two questions for you, Prof. One of them is, since we are living in hell, I asked you how we can survive. You said you're not Lucifer. You cannot tell us how we can survive. But let's face ASU, one, and then face the government, like you said. The first question is, how can we, reverse this government? Like, how can we now make a better government, or are we supposed to, continue living like this? How should we raise, they said leaders of tomorrow, and leaders of tomorrow are those ones in the same school where they are striking, they are in the market struggling. How those leaders of tomorrow, which I am one of them, how we will take, navigate our way, enter that place? Some people, like some young people, they don't come out during elections. I don't blame them, because once you hear any violence, in any polling booth, everybody runs. And they say, oh yeah, re-election or anything, nobody is going to come out, nobody wants to die. Concerning the electoral process now, what should we do so that we'll change the face of the government so that we'll live a better life in Nigeria?
Well, everything revolves around government in Nigeria. There's not enough incentive or systems organized to help people, thrive. So everybody is looking at government one way or the other, directly or indirectly. So I think the bottom line will be, how do you install a credible government, not one that comes in through fraud, electoral malpractice. 1993, I was in Port Harcourt as a youth corper. We tried to go and vote. Then the election was annulled. And it was only recently somebody came out and was giving reasons and pointing fingers who annulled, that he didn't annul the election and all that. 2023, seeing one or two people campaigning, I was encouraged to come out again. I couldn't register. I was running between Enugu and Nsukka to register. Then I said if the election went well, I was going to organize food and, wait for people as they were coming out. You will give them food for being able to go and vote. The way things happened again on that day, I couldn't do that. But eventually I was happy that I didn't waste my time, because it appeared that people who voted, especially in the presidential elections, wasted their time, wasted their, energy and resources, and it's very unfortunate. So I think if you need to turn around things in Nigeria, if we need to do that, you have to take it from the root, and the root, I think, is the electoral system. I see a young man on the internet running around doing all the preaching about electoral reforms. Who is listening? They may not want to do that because that would be shooting themselves in the leg. But you can't put away doomsday for too long. So I think at some point, Nigerians will have to wake up. The youth will have to wake up and know that you can't sit at home and become leader of tomorrow. You can't be supine, inactive, and become leader of tomorrow. So at some point they will realize they have to take action, and I think it's not going to be too far away, because where we are going, very soon families will be eating one another because of lack, because of deprivation. So people are being pushed to the wall. And I think sooner or later we will realize that, like Chinua Achebe said, or even it's a general proverb, if you don't lick your lips, the harmattan will lick them for you. So people will have to rise up and take their destinies in their own hands. And it's not a revolution per se, but I mean a kind of awakening that will make people see what they ought to do, that they have not done what they ought to do, and they get up and do it, and there'll be a change. And that thing that has not been done is being vigilant and active at the elections, and ensuring that votes count. That is the only thing that can change the situation. If you have the right people going in and knowing that if they don't do well, they'll be kicked out through the ballot box, Nigeria will certainly become better.
Yes, just before we leave, Prof, he said something about uh, people rising, knowing it is time for them to react and all of those things, ballots and staying to make sure that their votes count. We checked the last time at Lekki toll Gate, youths nationwide, they protested, say we no go gree, oh, we no go gree. And a lot of them were wasted. We had stories, no be we shoot them, now we shoot them, no be them, and all of those things. People rose, youths stood up, and after everything, it died down again. So, do you think that is still the way forward? Because the last time people came out to say we are awake, we saw what happened, especially at Lekki Tollgate, 20th of October 2020. Now, that memory in people's mind, should we still repeat the same process?
Well, that was NSAS 2020 before 2023. I'm sure it's part of what scared people away. 2023, not being able to stand their ground because they knew that somebody was going to shoot. But like I said, you can't put away doomsday for too long. And we know that normally revolution will also devour its own children, not only the enemy. So things will certainly come to a head sooner or later. And people who thought they cannot be challenged will be challenged. The hunters will become the hunted, and things will turn around. It's going to be difficult. It may not happen in our lifetime because it's just like William Blake, the poet, writing in one of his poems and say, "Is there a grain of sand that the devil has not found?" Is the type of question you ask about Nigeria. One, like the lamb asking the lion, did he who made the lamb make thee? Is it the same God that made? That is the kind of question you ask these politicians. Then again, is there a grain of sand in Nigeria that the devil has not found? The whole thing is totalizing, but at some point, people will have to stop and ask questions and say, where did we start? And where are we going? And it is the youth who will be in the forefront because the future belongs to them, not people who are like somebody will say, if you are at 50 going to 60, you are going to the airport. If you're up to 70, you are in the airport waiting for your flight, which will come at any time. So it is people who are not already on their way to the airport that will worry about what is happening at home and how they can make the homestead better than what it is for now. That is the youth.
So actually, this episode is for the youths, leaders of tomorrow. As Prof said, the haunted, or the hunter being haunted, and everything, you being pushed to the wall. What should be your next action as a youth? You can drop it on the comment section. Thank you very much for watching. Next episode, we'll discuss something very different. Have a nice day.